Welcome back to the Late Mike Show.
That's a new intro for the show.
Just came up with it.
Yep. It's Dan with Sarah.
I'm Sarah.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
We are excited but nervous, tired. We are going on holiday in the morning. Our flight is at 6:20 and we're leaving our house at 3 a.m. to go to Lanzarote with the two kids. Definitely got everything?
I hope so. I mean, I did all the packing.
Yeah. Sarah does all the itineraries before we go, and then when we're there, I'm then in charge. So you can
Let's clarify. Sarah does the itinerary 365 days a year, except for when we are on holiday.
Yeah.
So Dan plans 11 days out of the year, and I plan the rest.
So not 365 days then, is it?
354.
Yeah. But we're sure we got everything. We got a lot of lists that are all checked off. And I'm buzzing. It's our first full family holiday. We went on holiday with Henry when he was 1 to Zante.
2. Yeah, he was 2.
He wasn't, because he was only 16 months old when Emmy was born. And Emmy, you were pregnant with Emmy. Yeah. But the pictures of him, like on holiday, he looks
old.
He looks,
not old.
Oh, he looks 2, doesn't he?
He looks 2, yeah.
But yeah, we haven't been on a sun holiday in 3 years. And now we've got Emmy with us. Her first flight.
I'm so nervous for her flight.
I'm terrified. Because if she's on a swing, the motion freaks her out. She hates it.
Yeah, she tenses and like holds her breath, but she always wants to go on the swing, which is infuriating because she wants to get off the second she gets on.
But I think takeoff, I think she's going to be fine on the plane, obviously. She's going to be excited. Oh, plane. Oh, plane. And then when we speed up and take off, I hope she's fine, but I'm worried that she's just going to tense up and then scream.
I think she's going to cry. I think she's going to be a screaming child.
She might be asleep. We're waking up at 3 a.m.
That's true. Hopefully we can get her to fall asleep on us or something.
Doubt it.
I think you should be in charge of Emmy and I'll be in charge of
How are we
going
to do the seating? So we got one seat on its own by the aisle
Emmy
and then 3 of us.
with you.
So am I just sitting in between the two kids?
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We don't need to talk about that.
Okay.
That's so boring. I need my water.
So Sarah asked for a water, and she was like, "Oh, an ice water." So I just made it. Started walking into the room, and it was just ding 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 the whole way. I was like, "Well, you can't use that on the pod. It's going to drive me insane and everyone listening." But she refused to take the ice cubes out.
I like me some cold water.
You deserve it from all of the hard work you've done planning everything. I thought we would do a fun episode tonight.
Okay.
I went through some posts on Reddit and found unpopular opinions, which are all travel related. So I've listened to podcasts in the past about unpopular opinions, and I thought it was quite fun to listen to. And we can read some out. Their arguments about their point. We might agree with them. Or not.
Might not. All right, let's.
And would you like to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Number 1. Do you want to read it?
Yeah.
You read it.
Where does it start? At number 1?
Yeah.
Number 1. I don't see much point in traveling around the world. With the internet and globalization, cultures are blending and many cities feel the same. Traveling often feels overrated.
Okay. So, I think if everyone had that opinion, nobody would go anywhere, obviously. And you'd just be closed off to everything. Like, all cities are the same. They are, I mean, the ones I've been to are very similar. But I've never got to a new city and been like, oh, why did I come here? It's exactly the same as the other one. Because every single one has different cultures.
I do kind of agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With that or me?
Both. After traveling to lots of different places, I kind of see their point that not so much the culture blending. When you go to places like London, it's going to be pretty similar to places in the States, like big cities in the States, I would say.
Yeah.
I can't speak so much on like different places that maybe don't speak English.
Well, yeah, you haven't experienced them.
I mean, yeah, not cities.
I think that...
I mean, I've been to Quebec where they speak French and Paris where they speak French.
I think but to agree with that also then means that you agree with how a lot of people are going with these Apple Vision Pro things. Put a headset on, you can be anywhere in the world. You don't actually have to travel. You can just see it on a screen. Or go on Google Maps.
I think it depends on what you want to see. So, like, if you want to see, let's just go with Paris because I've been there. If you want to see the Eiffel Tower, you're not going to get the same experience through VR.
Yeah.
That you would have just going there and seeing it. Which, if you're going there to see things, I think that you'll have a better time than if you're going there to embrace yourself in culture.
Yeah.
Because there are different things in Paris than are in London or in Boston, where I'm from. But it is very similar.
But look at it this way. Take away the landmarks and things you're going to see. People meet people. You know, like, you travel, you meet people you'd never meet if you didn't make that trip. You can make lifelong friends or a partner. If you just go, I'm just going to look at that on the computer, or then I'm not going to embrace myself into actually, because it's not just like traveling the world isn't just about seeing new things. It's about meeting new people and learning about yourself sometimes as well.
I
don't agree with this.
These are pretty short prompts, but the last sentence is traveling often feels overrated, and I do feel that
sometimes. So can you think of a time where you've been excited to go and see something and you've got there and it hasn't lived up to the expectation?
Yes.
What is it? Eiffel Tower?
No, I really liked going to Paris.
Eiffel Tower was bigger than I thought it would be, because you can see it from like pretty much anywhere in Paris.
Yeah.
But if it was red, if like they repainted it, if they painted it,
yeah,
it didn't just look like
grey or brown,
a brown rusted structure, I think it would look so much better. I think you just get sick of it after a while. I don't know. Like, we were done with it after 2 days. One day.
But then on the other hand, like, cultures are blending. Many cities feel the same. But at the same time, there is something very different about French culture. Like eating outside at one of the cafes. I can't remember where we were, but we did
Bastille.
that. And it feels so much different than somewhere in New York doing that, or somewhere in Boston. Or
that's very true.
It does feel different.
But it's trying to think of somewhere else apart from France, because it seems like we're just picking on France.
Oh, I'm not picking on it. I loved Paris.
But yeah, like Venice. I haven't been to Venice, but like you go on boats, like canoes. Well, not canoes, but you know what I mean, all the way around.
It's not a canoe.
What is it called?
A gondola.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
But a gondola is also a name for a cable car. I've been on one called a gondola. New Zealand. Why do they name it the same thing?
I don't have the answer.
Okay, what was the thing that you were excited to see, and then it didn't live up to it?
A lot of things in America.
Like what?
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Most of the California places. LA.
LA was my biggest disappointment because I bigged it up way too much.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be a movie star on Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, I was like looking for them, and it was just an absolute cesspit.
I didn't love Vegas. I know that's not California, but I didn't love Vegas. It felt like New York, but you could gamble
Doesn't feel like New York to me in the
But
slightest.
it's busy like New York. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
New York has a different vibe, and I love New York. Yeah.
But then Vegas is amazing if you go there for a Vegas holiday. Like if you're going there to gamble, if you're going there to party and all that stuff, which we didn't go to do there. We didn't go to do that. We got married there, and it was class. But it could have been anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that it was Vegas, which made it special.
Dan and I did a road trip across the states. We did 30 states in 3 months. And the main prerogative of that road trip was to see more landmarks and natural things. And that is what I most enjoyed about the traveling. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't meeting people.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything about that. It was seeing things that are different. And that part of travel to me is not overrated.
Yeah. The natural things, the man-made things can be.
Cities feel like cities wherever you are. There are some cities that have completely different vibes, and it does feel a bit different, like New York. I would say New York feels different.
But like Nashville was class. We loved it. But it was very...
But think about during the daytime in Nashville.
Yeah,
it's just a city.
Yeah.
It's the nightlife that you're going
I remember when we did Vegas for that one night on the road trip, we were going east to west. So we went through the Grand Canyon and we found like our own pass in. We found our own way in, didn't we? And it was amazing. And then we drove to Vegas for one night and it was like, why are we here?
Yeah.
I can't wait to get back on the road and see something that isn't flashing lights and loud noises. Should we move on to the next point?
Yeah. Well, you've put debate prompt on this list, so I will read it.
Okay.
Do you believe that the uniqueness of global cultures is diminishing due to globalization? We'll start with that. I don't. I don't think that it's diminishing. I think, like, if you go to Tokyo, the culture there is going to be completely different than going to New York or Paris.
Yeah, we've been talking about very Western world.
Yeah, but
places.
if you go, like, I don't think cultures are blending that you wouldn't want to go see them. Like, I think Italian culture is very different.
Yeah.
Than British culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, depends on what you're going to look for.
Yeah, I don't agree with that one. That first point, I don't agree with it at all. And I love traveling.
Is the experience of being in a new place irreplaceable, or can it be simulated through media and technology? I think it's irreplaceable.
It's irreplaceable.
We kind of already touched on that.
Definitely irreplaceable because, going back to America, but New York, I was obsessed with the idea of going there when I was a kid, and I researched the map of it and everything. But being there and doing all the things on my bucket list, I researched all of it. I saw all of it on the internet, and it wasn't as good as being there at all. But that's just New York. It applies to everything, I think.
So prompt 2, this doesn't feel like Reddit stories or whatever. Like, I feel like
it needs to go deeper into it, really, doesn't it? But
yeah, these are just short little prompts of people.
Well, I'll read this one out. The majority of people who travel don't enjoy it. That's the title. What's your first thoughts of that? The majority of people who travel don't actually enjoy it. I'm already thinking, what? No.
I can see it, though. I wouldn't say majority, to be fair. I don't think I'd say majority.
Have you met anyone that's like gone traveling around the world or on holiday, come back and gone, hated that? Actually, it usually happens on sun holidays. They're like, I couldn't wait to get back.
Yeah.
But I think that's when someone's so used to their routine or their work or something, or their family, and they can't wait to get back to it. I think a holiday is good to break up the routine for a short period of time. And I think that maybe is a good reason why typically younger people travel, because they're not in that routine. They're trying to find what they want to do. They want to explore as much as they can now. So traveling is their whole world at that point.
Yeah.
But like if we went now to like Australia for a month, I think that we'd love it, but would also be like, I miss home. I miss our house with our kids. We're going to
Well, if our kids weren't there. Yeah.
No, with the kids, but if we
Okay.
knew we were coming back, we'd be thinking, gotta come back. It's going to be school.
I don't necessarily think that. I think if you could keep reading.
Oh yeah, okay. People often showcase the glamorous side of travel on social media. That's so true.
Yeah.
Already, it is that no one posts the rubbish bit on their story. But they don't share the exhaustion, jet lag, and stress of navigating unfamiliar places.
That I'd agree with.
Of course,
I think
because people are trying to they're showing off. Look how
but
great
not-
this is.
But not even the social media part. I do think that, like, people have it in their heads that this should be fun, so it's fun, even though it's not.
Yeah.
So it's not just showcasing it on social media. I do think that people get it in their idea that they're supposed to be having fun, so they
Yeah, maybe it's like in the back of their minds where they've been telling everyone, oh, I'm going on holiday for 2 weeks. I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing. I got all this stuff booked. And then when they're there, like, this is terrible, but I've told everyone I'm going, so I've got to pretend it's good.
You know what I don't like
It's all
about
subconscious
traveling
thoughts.
somewhere? I think we differ on this, but if I'm going to, sorry, but the last place we went was Paris, so I'm going to say Paris again. I don't want to hear other people's opinions of where to go and what to do and what to see, because usually they suck and they're super touristy, and that's not really what I go to places for. Like, yeah, you're going to see the Eiffel Tower, but there was a bunch of stuff when we went to Paris that I didn't feel like I needed to see.
One of my favourite days of Paris was flying home that day. Not flying home, but we got out of Paris and we went to a place called Antony.
Yeah.
Which is on the way to the airport we flew out of, just because it was 10 minutes away from that airport. So instead of spending our last full day in Paris, we thought, let's explore some more of France that we don't know anything about. And we just had a beer on the side of the road in that pub. It wasn't amazing there. There wasn't much to do. We got McDonald's. But that day stands out to me because it was, we did Notre Dame in the morning.
Yeah.
And then got out of Paris, and it was like, now this is exciting to me because no one has ever told me about Antony, France.
I think it just depends on the kind of person that you are too. Like, if you are really into seeing architecture and things like that, then yeah, you're gonna want to go to all those places.
Yeah,
but, like,
or if you're studying it,
that I kind of regret doing, and I wish we didn't do a couple of the architecture things and instead went to like the catacombs or something. I know that that's a touristy thing, but I think I would have preferred that than going, I don't know, I can't think of where we went.
The Louvre.
I liked the Louvre.
We were in there for 12 minutes.
Yeah, but
we ran to, what did we go to see? The Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Which was the most overrated attraction in the world.
Yeah, you stand in a queue to take a picture.
Well, no, it's not a queue. It's a crowd of people. So we took a picture from the back of the room.
Yeah.
And
we didn't wait in the queue for it.
There was some art in that museum which was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
There was the ones which there was like,
they're like 30 feet tall.
Yeah. And it's like a picture of, let's say, like a room with a big window. So you can see through the window or into like everything in the background.
A painting of a room filled with paintings.
Yeah, that's the one I was
Those are so cool.
So yeah, a room with paintings on the wall, and inside each of those is more paintings, yeah. And it's the detail, not a single person is looking at that. They're all looking at the Mona Lisa.
They're all lining up for the Mona Lisa.
Crazy.
It is.
I'm gonna carry on the
carry on the prompt.
So the debate prompt is: travel often romanticized, hiding the less pleasant aspects? Have you ever experienced a moment where reality of travel didn't match the expectation?
Absolutely.
I've really just asked that though on the first point.
Yeah.
I jumped ahead.
Yeah, but absolutely. Yeah. And I do. That's why it leads me to this prompt. I agree with more than the first one. But
you wouldn't believe we're going on holiday tomorrow.
But it does remind me of the first prompt where like it is kind of overrated, but it depends on what you're into, really.
Yeah, of course. I want you to read the next one out because I don't want to go in circles because we kind of covered this in the first point, and this third one is a bit. I think it could be more spicy.
Yeah. Okay, the third prompt is: traveling doesn't make somebody more interesting. It's tedious when people make travel their entire personality. Visiting numerous countries doesn't inherently make somebody more engaging.
I'm going to agree and disagree. Because if someone's more cultured from seeing a lot of things, then you could argue that they are more interesting. They have more interesting stories. They have more of they have a broader way of thinking about everything. Going back to like the social media stuff about posting, they can be extremely agonizing to see.
So I think,
and I don't know if that's coming from like a point of selfishness or something, from like, oh, I wish I was doing that, which is a big problem online, I think, with people like glamorizing the highs and making everyone else feel bad about.
To me, it feels vain.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at.
I think it's great to travel and to be more cultured and to understand the world a lot better. I can't say that it doesn't make somebody interesting, because it does, but when it is the sole thing that somebody's talking about 90% of the time, then they become less interesting to me. Like you can only talk about traveling so much. If you're just talking about, this one time when I was in
Vietnam, and then we went over to Australia, and then we went over to New Zealand, and then we went over to Los Angeles.
Yeah, and the people there, they're just so relaxed all the time, and like just constantly saying the same things. That's where it becomes like, shut up.
Yeah, I'm talking to you because I want to know something about you.
Yeah.
Not about someone else you met.
Yeah, I think it's good to see the world, embrace those cultures, and understand people more and from different parts of the world. But when it becomes your personality, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And when you're vain about it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely it's someone's personality. So someone could travel the entire world, every single country, and if they've got like the right attitude about it, and they could be the most interesting person ever. But if they're like, oh, I've done so much, I've seen so much, but yeah, shut up, mate.
Like I used to work for elderly people back in the States, and one person that I worked for was extremely well traveled, like has been all over the world, and she would sometimes talk about like the places that she's been and what she really liked about it, but it was not who she was. She was extremely intelligent and talked about more than just the traveling there. It was what she learned rather than what she saw, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And it wasn't like flipping through pictures saying, oh, look at me, I was on the beach here, look at me, like that kind of thing.
I'll be honest though, I've got to admit I have been guilty to this. Like when I did travel Australia and stuff, I was 21 or something like that, and I wasn't really happy back home with life, didn't really experience much. So then when I experienced traveling, that's the only thing I probably spoke about, and people were probably thinking, shut your mouth. Yeah. So I mean, I think you need other life experiences, not just jetting off to different places.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that is the only thing you've got to talk about. I also think
that it's just not holding on to that travel so tight. Like, you went to Australia, 10 years ago now?
11.
Yeah, you're not constantly talking about it.
Yeah.
And that time that I went to Australia, I met the most amazing people, and they're fabulous over there. And that's the difference, is you need to let go of traveling there and learn from it and embrace it, but
remember it, but move on.
Shut up about it.
So I like this next one. I'm going to jump straight to it because it actually, I think we're going to agree immediately, but resorts are boring. It's like the hotel.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying
Sorry.
what resort means, Dan.
I didn't know if I pronounced it like. I didn't know if you say it the same way. Resort. I know you do. Resorts are boring. Staying at resorts lacks daily activities, cultural immersion. That's the right word. Immersion. And exploration.
Can you read?
No, I'm tired. It's just lounging around by the pool, which can be very dull. I could not agree more. What about you?
I hate to be that person who's always sitting on a fence, but
Really?
I think it depends. I don't think we're those kind of people. If we go somewhere, like we went to Zante, and we did not want to sit by the pool the entire time.
No, we went for 1 week. On day 2, day 1, we were like by the pool. Henry hated swimming, remember?
Yeah.
Remember? So we were like, oh no. We went to
I think we're going to be a little bit more surprised this time that the kids are going to want to stay by the pool.
Yeah.
I think.
But we came prepared this time. So last time we hired a car on day 2 or day 3 and explored the whole island, and I'm so happy we did that.
Yeah,
because we made so many better memories. And we've got a hire car for this entire holiday, so we can explore this island. But
I think if we were going for 11 days and had no plans to leave the resort, yes, I think it would be absolutely boring.
Yeah.
You're not. But at the same time, I feel like we're kind of those people from that last prompt that we're just talking about all of our travel experiences. But when I went to the Bahamas, we did just stay on the resort.
Yeah, so you get people all the time saying, "Oh, so I just wish I could just win a load of money, retire, and just go to the Maldives." And I'm like, I don't ever want to go to the Maldives because it just seems like you just sat on a beach. It seems like there's nothing there.
But when I went to the Bahamas, I still had
I might be completely wrong with that, but
I had a great time. There's a lot of things that you can do in that, like the specific resort that I stayed in. There were like water slides. I was 16, so I was younger. Jet
check
skis
me out.
and things like that.
I've been to the Bahamas.
There's no pictures. You won't find them on Facebook. But I think it depends. I think it depends on the kind of holiday that you're looking for.
I think you need a mix of it. So I want some days of that, because if we're not relaxing, we're going to come back and go, I need a holiday.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
We've just had the kids for 11 days without nursery, and they were hot, bothered. I'm worried
and tired. Yeah.
I'm worried that it's not going to be all glamorous. I'm worried that we're going to have a couple of days of just pure exhaustion.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that. That's definitely in my head.
But let's go on to the.
But
prompt.
I'll end it.
Well, I'm going to the prompt.
You're going to prompt it. Okay.
Yeah. So, do resorts offer a relaxing escape, or do they isolate travelers from authentic experiences? How do you balance relaxation and cultural exploration? So a lot of the times, all the times, the resorts are always showing you things to do, like coach tours and boat trips. So it's not like, oh, just stay here, we're not going to let you explore.
I think it depends. Like, I'm so sorry. But I think it depends. If you go to a country that has these resorts, but in the mass variety of, that's not what I want to say, but in the majority of the country, it's impoverished or dangerous.
Yeah, it's different then, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. You're not going to go explore those countries because it's dangerous. So you would stay on the resort. Yeah,
but there's a lot of travel YouTubers that I've seen who do the exact opposite. Like they don't go on the beaten track. They will go to the places you shouldn't travel to, and then they actually show that the media has painted a bad look for it, and it was one of the best experiences ever. But it is a very risky thing to do.
Exactly.
And not what you would do with kids.
No, exactly. I don't know. I think it depends on where you're going. If you're going, like, I would say anywhere in the UK, you're probably fine to go explore. Same with like the States. To explore.
Yeah, you just gotta look out for no trespassing stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
you have to know the rules.
Well,
If anywhere
let's
you go.
let's not talk about like that. But I mean, you've got bears and
there's
stuff like that,
natural things that,
which is where it can be dangerous if you just explore anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to say resorts are boring. Not for like a couple of days, but if you're going on a 2-week holiday, you have to do other things.
Yeah. I would say that too, but I understand why people sometimes stay at resorts.
I fully understand why they do it, and I think that people have different levels of stress as well, so people may need it to just sit by the pool and not do anything. But for me, I don't know if it's just the way I am, but I feel like that would be, I'm like wasting an experience there.
Fair. I mean, I'm like that too, so yeah.
Yeah. I've told you before about the layover I had in China.
Yeah, the
Beijing, and I didn't see the Great Wall, but I was there for 6 hours, and I regret not just being able to have a day there. 72-hour visa or something. I'm not going back there. Or it's a very expensive trip to go back there. So.
Well, I'll end it with I'm sitting on the fence on every prompt because I think it depends on who you are. And
you just don't want to be cancelled. You need to say what you think with your heart.
But that is what I think. Like I genuinely do think that you can do whatever you want.
Do you want to read this next one?
Sure. It's okay to go to McDonald's or get fast food while traveling.
100%. I cannot wait to get a McDonald's breakfast tomorrow morning.
Sometimes familiar food is comforting, and there's nothing wrong with grabbing fast food in a foreign country.
I mean, I already said that we
got a McDonald's in Paris.
Yeah. But that's because
I think if you're making that your entire trip, then no, that's not okay. But like, if you're like, oh, we're kind of in a rush, we get a big day, there's a McDonald's, let's just grab a McDonald's.
The sad thing about when we went to McDonald's, the reason we went is because I wanted to see if it was different to here, and it was.
Yeah, well, yeah,
it was very different.
Yeah,
but
like if we
could have gone to like a family-owned French restaurant.
Yeah, which we kind of did. We went to a pub right after.
Yeah, we did both.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's okay. I wouldn't say you should just do that. You should experience the food of where you are.
Yeah, definitely. But
if
well, let's carry on reading the.
I'll just say, if we went to like, again, I'm going to target Tokyo. If we went to Tokyo, I would want to try the McDonald's there because it is supposedly very different from what we eat. So yeah. Debate prompt.
Well, before you do that, what you did read about is sometimes familiar food is comforting. That bit there.
Try new things.
Yeah.
Get out of your comfort zone. You're in a new place.
I don't agree with that bit. And McDonald's shouldn't be your familiar food, even though it is for me.
Yeah. Debate prompt. Is indulging in familiar fast food abroad a missed opportunity to experience local cuisine, or is it a valid choice for comfort and convenience? I feel like we just answered that.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did. Sleep more on vacation, not less. Vacations should be restful. Overpacking itineraries can lead to exhaustion rather than relaxation. So I have done a full itinerary for this holiday, but it's not set in stone. The only two things that are set in stone are Monday and Thursday, because it's a zoo and a water park.
Yeah, we
got tickets. The other things, there's like some road trip stuff in there to explore different parts of the island, but we don't have to do it. Like if on Tuesday I say, oh, we're going to do this today, and you go, can we just stay here? Kids are tired. I'll say absolutely.
Yeah, I think it depends on everything's going to depend on something. Sorry, that's just how I am. It depends on, like when we went to Paris, sorry to keep bringing it up, but we were only there for a weekend because it was our anniversary weekend, and we wanted to see so much stuff. I don't think we would have had the opportunity to just sleep.
Yeah, but
it depends on how long you're there.
I don't think you should use Paris as an example here, because I wouldn't call that a vacation or a holiday. That is a city break. So I think city holidays.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, we went there for...
It's still going away. It's still traveling.
The type of people that we are, we booked to go to Paris to explore Paris. It'd be a fun thing to do for our anniversary. We're not going to go there to just rest. But if we booked a holiday, just me and you, to Spain by a beach or something in a resort, then we'd probably spend half of that week just relaxing.
Let's say that we were going back to Zante, because we've already been there. Mm-hmm. We've done it. We spent a whole week there. We saw the entire island.
I'd be annoyed by it.
But let's say
because I would want to go to a different island to explore a different Greek island.
I know that. But let's say
even
it
was
Zante. Just me and you. The kids weren't coming. Mm-hmm. It was just like 3 days in Zante. I would probably want to relax.
3 days in Zante's, different.
I'd
probably drink as well. I'd probably drink more.
Yeah, and just chill out by the pool.
Not get hammered, but I'd really just proper relax.
Yeah, I think.
But this is remember the title of this: sleep more vacation, not less.
I think having an overpacked itinerary is not a good idea. It's not a good idea when you have kids and they're going to be tired.
Yeah.
But that's also not the kind of person I am either. When I travel, I like to be a little bit spontaneous. I don't want everything to be jam-packed with an itinerary, because then if you hear about something and you're like, oh, that sounds really cool, then you're like, oh, I have to move something from my itinerary that now I have to miss out on.
Yeah.
Rather than just going with the flow.
Yeah, so our itinerary, there are some things that I've now got hooked on that I want to do.
Yeah.
That I might be a bit gutted if we don't do because I've researched it. But then I've had to kind of look at things to see if they're kid-friendly.
Yeah.
We can't just go to a volcano if the kids aren't allowed to come in.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So... I mean, yeah.
Debate prompt. Do you prefer a packed schedule to maximize your sightseeing, or do you value downtime and rest during travel? I think
this one I'm closer to the fence, but based on everything I've said in this podcast and the fact that I've planned an itinerary for this week, I do prefer.
You prefer a schedule, you do,
but not a schedule, like.
You prefer a list of things to do. Not
with Zante, we didn't have a schedule. We got a car and then went, let's go to the north today. Yeah. It was spontaneous and then turned into like an awesome boat trip, which we would never have done. So that's what I loved about it. This time I've had to do it because of the kids.
Yeah.
So I don't prefer a packed schedule, but I don't want just a load of downtime of missing out.
Yeah. I agree.
So, yeah. I don't think I agree with sleep more on vacation, even though I should. Even that's exactly what I need. I need a lot of sleep.
Me too.
Solo travel. Do you want to read this one?
Sure. Solo travel is better than group travel. Traveling alone allows for complete freedom without having to cater to others' preferences or schedules. Debate prompt. I'm going to read the whole thing. What are the pros and cons of having a solo versus group travel? Have you had experiences where one was significantly better than the other? When I'm talking solo travel, I'm kind of including you in that.
No, don't.
No?
No, solo. Solo, because I'm not going to include you in my point.
Rude.
Well,
all right, you make your point first. First.
Right, it depends on who you are. So I'm not exactly going to start solo traveling at this point of my life with the 2 young kids and yourself, obviously. But I do regret not traveling more on my own when I was younger. So, like, the only time I did fly on my own was to come and meet you, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm. But that's just like the physical traveling part. You weren't traveling alone.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't really have any experiences of it. Like, I've done a decent amount of travel, but it's always with somebody. And I wish that I did a lot of that on my own.
Yeah.
So,
I don't
know if it's better than a group travel, because... No, I wouldn't say it's better. But I do regret not doing it. What about you? Have you solo travelled?
I have. Not on an airplane.
I use that because that was the only time.
Yeah. I used to.
I went to a different country on my own.
Yeah, same. I've driven to Canada by myself on like a 17-hour road trip just because I could.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Again, it depends on the kind of person you are. For me, it's not like
That's a drive, but like if you went there on your own for like a week, then you'd have to like immerse yourself into like meeting people at the bar or making new friends or something like that, which is going back to like the older point that we spoke about, immersing yourself into other cultures and stuff. But because you went there and came back completely on your own.
I didn't just go there and turn around.
Oh, did you not?
No.
I thought you were there for like a night and then you came home.
No, I was there for like 2 nights.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I went to, I want to say the Grand Canyon, but that's not Canada. Niagara Falls. I went to Niagara Falls. I went to, a couple things on the state side too.
Yeah.
But yeah, went to Toronto.
You had the dog with you, Joey?
Yeah, I had Joey with me, so I guess it's not solo.
Yeah,
travel.
you haven't solo traveled.
I can't say that group travel would be fantastic though. Like
stressful.
Yeah, like a large group of people who don't all want to do the same thing would suck. I think the best travel is minimal people.
Yeah.
Not by yourself, but with, like, I liked traveling with you. I've liked traveling with 1 or 2 friends.
I think if it's going to be a group, let's say 3 or more, you've kind of got to all fully agree of like, all have the same ideas of what you want to see, or you have to be very lenient. Is that the word? And just go with the flow of things.
Yeah.
Because you can't. There's always going to be somebody in that group that's going to naturally take charge. So like, we've got to get this bus here this time, or something like that. So if you've got too many, it's like too many chefs.
Maybe I've never done that kind of traveling, where it's like, oh, we have to catch this bus to get to that place. That's just not the kind of person I am, so I've never been subject to it.
So I've travelled with 2 people,
yeah.
And I basically had to sort everything, otherwise we wouldn't have made it to the next place. It was just
screw that.
It was kind of like not dragging them around, but it was, if I didn't plan something or if I didn't book the next hotel, I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah.
But then if the other 2 were also like-minded, it may have clashed.
I don't know. I'm just not that kind of person.
Do you want to move on to the next point?
No, I have a point to make. I'm trying to think of somewhere that I know a lot of landmarks that we've never been before. So I'm going to go back to like China.
Yeah.
If we were going to China, there would be a couple of things that I'd want to see, but then I wouldn't really care. And I think I would get frustrated with somebody who is like planning every second of every day, trying to see as many things as possible, where I'm definitely more of a go with the flow kind of person. I'll see what I see, and if I don't see it,
who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I don't think I'd like big group travel, or like a travel that you need to be so stringent on time.
Would you ever go on a holiday to? I'm only going to say this because I know that they do it to everywhere. Like India, for example, you can go there for like 30 days, but you're part of a tour group, so you're taking like all around, not all around, you go like 5-6 different places in India. I haven't done it, but I researched it once. But you're always going to be in a group of like 30 people from all over. They're not your friends, but you'll probably become friends with them.
Yeah, I get it.
Would you ever do that, or would you prefer to just wing it and go on your own, or go with me?
Maybe when I'm older, I wouldn't mind that so much. Like not really having to plan any. It's kind of like a relaxed way to do it. To be fair, you just go with it. You've got 30 minutes in this spot. Make sure you're back at the bus in 30 minutes. Okay.
Do you think you'd like a? Do you think that you would like a cruise?
Probably.
Because the travel bit is just.
You're on a boat.
I think we'd get sick of the actual boat.
There's so much to do on a cruise ship.
There is a lot,
so
but
much.
I've never
There's
been on one.
entertainment.
I've never been on one, but I feel like it's Vegas on the sea.
Nah.
I feel like it's going to be flashing lights and shows and
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like the reason I don't like Vegas is because all it is people getting drunk and gambling.
But that's what I think a cruise ship would be.
I don't think that's what a cruise ship is.
No?
There's like there's live entertainment in Vegas too, and that's why a lot of people go. But like we didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to. I feel like going to see the shows. There's like pools. There's relaxing stuff. There's fun stuff. It's not just yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like a cruise. And then you get off at a port and you explore somewhere and you just have to make it back for the cruise ship. I think that's great.
Yeah. I'd love to experience one.
Yeah.
Let's do it next year. Anniversary.
Where are we gonna bring the kids?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Can't afford that.
That's where it gets expensive.
Yeah. Right, we have got one final one.
Let me read the last one because then you can get into your last stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we got one final like thing to talk about,
Yeah.
and then we'll do like a.
See you later.
Yeah.
Anyway, touristy places are popular for a reason. Avoiding popular destinations just because they're touristy can mean missing out on genuinely remarkable sights. Should travelers avoid tourist hotspots to see authenticity, or are these popular sites worth the crowds due to their significance?
I think it depends.
You're pulling a me now. I think most touristy spots are significant. Talking about, again, sorry, going back to Paris, but like, I don't think there was a huge queue to see the Mona Lisa. If there wasn't a queue, I probably would have like actually gone up to it and been like, oh wow, like
Yeah, cool.
that's pretty cool. But because there was a queue, I was like, it's just
I'm
not
good.
worth my time standing here.
Yeah.
But I do think I think it's a give and take too. You should go to some touristy spots, but you should
Yeah.
also go off the beaten path.
Going back to New York, the holiday that I did to just check everything off, that was like my childhood dream come true sort of thing. I just wanted to see Grand Central Station. I wanted to see Empire State Building, all that stuff. Got it out of the way. But what I actually found most fun was like living like a New Yorker, going to parts where New Yorkers would go to instead of. So I can't think what it was. I can't remember where it was, but there was like nobody there, no tourists or anything like that, and I found that way more interesting and fun than the long lines to see, to go up to the top of the Empire State Building and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So. I don't know.
I think touristy things are touristy things for a reason because they're popular and they're probably cool. But then there's things like I'm hesitant to shit on somewhere that I haven't been, but like you've seen the videos of like this is what it looks like on Instagram, this is what it looks like in real life. And one of them is like the Blue Lagoon, which I've never been to, so I can't tell you whether or not it's good or not. But like the pictures on Instagram make it look beautiful. But then when you see like the unfiltered version, it's like a ton of people in a hot bathtub.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that one of the most overrated things I saw was Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
And I find it so funny how many billions of people take pictures of that and all that, but don't go in it to see an opera show or like.
I don't know. I don't really see that as a tourist. Like it's.
Oh, it is.
It's a touristy
Everyone knows the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
But there's so many other cool parts about Sydney that you don't have a clue about.
Yeah, but that's just because it's famous. I'd like to see it because it's famous.
Do you know what the bridge is called opposite it?
I don't know anything about Australia.
It's the Harbour Bridge, I think. But that's nicer. It's a bridge.
But that's like saying like the Golden Gate Bridge is overrated and there's so many tourists around it. It's because it's
true.
Beautiful.
But it's a bridge.
Yeah, and you take a picture of it and you off.
Oh, why'd you have to swear? Now I have to bleep
and
it.
You scoot off.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with any structure.
Yeah.
People are going to want to see it because it's famous and they've seen it their entire life. If you think of Australia, you probably think of the Opera House. If you think of San Francisco, you probably think of the bridge. So you're going to want to see it. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Big Ben, overrated?
I wanted to see it. It's overrated to me now because
Yeah, you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
But if I, like, before I saw it, it wasn't overrated.
It's that classic thing, isn't it? Like, the amount of people that have travelled to England, gone to London, seen Big Ben, Buckingham Palace and all that stuff, and then gone home, flew back and gone, I've been to England, and you haven't seen any of England. You've just seen that little bit, and that's the same everywhere.
Yeah, but
if you just go to New York, you haven't seen America. You know,
but I think that's an impossible standard. It's an impossible standard.
No, I know, but I think that's why I want to explore places I go to so much, because just going to the touristy place, just going to like one major thing, I don't know how to get my point across.
I think it's unrealistic in a lot of people's lives to like fully embrace a culture when you're there for such a short amount of time and you do want to see things. So like I don't think it's inherently bad to go to the touristy places. It's just if you're interested in it, go to it.
Yeah. I think
some of them are going to be traps.
That's
you have
what
to
I
be
think.
safe.
That's what I think the point should be. If you are genuinely interested in seeing something, then go and see it. Don't just go and see it because millions of other people think it's cool. If you don't,
the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah.
Would you go there and take a picture?
I've never once in my life thought I'm going to go and see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's cool, but like, I would want to go and see what else is there. What's around the corner from there? I have no idea about that place. It is Pisa, isn't it?
I'd still
it's in Pisa. So but the only thing I know is they got a tower with poor foundations.
I would still want to go see it because I've watched documentaries on it.
That's the thing. If I was there, if I was in Italy and I was a mile away, then I'd go and see it.
I don't think I'd take a picture trying to push it back up because I wouldn't post it. You know what I mean?
Oh, trying to push it back up.
Yeah.
That's not
trying to catch it, fall, whatever.
I don't think the people are trying to push it back up.
They're actually trying to push it back up. They're nowhere near the... Sorry again.
I think the point is to just show that they're holding it, not I'm trying to push this back up straight.
I keep pushing it back up. If I ever take a picture next to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, please know I am
get a good
trying
stance
to push it
there. Not once have I ever seen one of those pictures and thought they're trying to push that back up straight.
Well, I am.
They're standing nowhere near it.
But like I do think that a lot of the cool things are touristy things. Like we spoke about Venice. If I went to Venice, I would definitely want to go on a boat. If I went to, which we did, Paris, I would want to see the Eiffel Tower. When I first came to London,
because you'd feel like you've missed the experience.
To see all the touristy things in London. Like, you do want to see those stuff. I don't think everything is a tourist trap. I would say, though, if you have to spend a lot of money to do something, it's probably not worth it. I can't think of something, but like...
Say that point again.
If you have to spend a lot of money to do it, it's probably not that worth it.
Yeah. Alcatraz, just thought of it now. I went to San Francisco once, hated it because of the way I stayed. I didn't do Alcatraz, and I always felt like, I missed an opportunity there.
Yeah.
And when we went there, we did Alcatraz.
Yeah.
It's just a prison.
No, for me that was a highlight of our trip.
It's cool, but it's just a prison.
Highlight of my trip.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I loved Alcatraz.
My highlight was getting the e-scooters, and we just went around the streets, went up and down the streets and stuff. But
it's because we
didn't really do much more there.
I've researched Alcatraz and the things that stuck out for me are the things that I want to see because I know about them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's what makes something interesting.
I think if it was a prison that you'd never heard of, and we went and seen it,
it's just a
wouldn't
prison.
care,
But I knew the story of the escapes and all that stuff, which I think is like incredibly cool and is,
yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
This has been fun. I think we're about at the hour mark now as well. It's going pretty fast, isn't it? Kinda. Still awake over there?
I'm so tired.
We're going to record again after this.
No, we're not.
Different episode. Okay, so if you're listening still and you have an opinion on these, go back through each point and let me know. Let me know what your opinion of it is.
You don't have to go through every point.
No, I didn't mean like that. Pick.
If you have a point, just make it. You don't have to go research it.
No, I mean if you can't remember point 2, go back and remember go back and find out what we were on about. And if you are gonna, no one's gonna message me. No one's gonna listen to this. But if they are and they go, oh, point 2 that you said, my opinion on that is this, then that's what I mean by that. All right.
If you want to make a point, though, you don't have to go through every single one and bullet point them, because that's what I was picturing when you said that.
Yeah. I need to work on my engagement, obviously, with you. But which one of these unpopular travel opinions do you agree with or disagree with? And do you have your own take on travel? Until next time, see you after
bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.